The word politics comes from Greek, poly meaning many, and ticks, which are blood-sucking parasites. You can't say that on Christian radio.
You definitely cannot. My name is Therese Main.
My name is Jesse Gabel, and we are hosts of Main and Gable Afternoons on Family Life. And yeah, politics is one of those really touchy subjects, especially in Christian circles. And I think it's partially because Christians are really involved in politics.
Yeah, I think it's a passion level is what it comes down to. It's not so much that we feel called to the political machine, but that the things that we deeply hold in the heart of hearts, the things that make us followers of Jesus, become politicized.
Yeah.
And we just can't help it. And I'm super guilty of it. I start to see an influencer who I'm vibing with, and I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And then the next thing I know, that's what's showing up in my newsfeed. And I'm like, I am consuming politics, and I didn't mean to.
Yep.
Now, I want to make it very clear. We're not saying that Christians should not be politically involved. It really comes down to a matter of citizenship. Yes, we are citizens of the United States or Canada or whatever country you're listening from right now. But ultimately, we are citizens of heaven. And the Bible says that in Philippians 3. So we are not to withdraw from society. We're to be in the world without becoming like the world. The influence that we have because of our love for Jesus should spill out onto our political realm.
Yes.
But oftentimes the political toxicity, the acid of the political nature of our nation spills onto us as Christians. And it makes us bitter and unkind. And sometimes when I see that in myself, I'm like, I don't like that. That does not seem like what Jesus would do.
Yeah, in kind of preparing to talk about this, I was like, man, why does politics make me so mad? I don't think politics is what gets our gears grinding, and you might feel that way too. It's people's handling of politics. Because I think for a lot of the world, and Christians too, Christians are super guilty of this just as much as the rest of the world, politics becomes sort of a messiah. We treat politics as if it's going to give us the perfect country, like we are going to make the perfect society where the world just functions well and the economy is always good and people work hard and have freedom and can do whatever we want. And yeah, it's a great world. It's paradise on earth. And that's just, you're never going to get that. There is no system of government. There is no magic combination of laws that is going to put heaven here on earth. I believe that we've gotten one of the best countries ever to exist on the face of the planet with the United States.
Ever, America.
Yeah, absolutely. Not devaluing that at all. But it's not heaven, and it's not going to be. And I think that, too, especially as time has gone on, people have tried to use politics to do away with sin in a way. Like, we genuinely believe that if we pass the right laws, if we get rid of the right stereotypes, we can make this paradise where there is no sin and everybody gets along. And I mean, just taking an example like racism, you know, we think if we pass all the right laws, we're going to do away with this piece of human sin that I'm sorry, until Jesus returns, there are going to be people who there's going to be that sin that's going to exist. And I studied the civil rights movement in high school, and I'm super thankful for the civil rights movement and the laws that were passed and desegregation and all of that. Like Martin Luther's dream of a world where, you know, a white man and a black man can shake hands and have a great day. I think we're much closer to that than we were before. But you're never going to root sin out of the world. And if you put your faith in politics to do that for you, you're skipping Jesus.
You know, it's funny because we do let politics influence us when really we should be influencing politics. One of the things that I find myself being convicted about is representing Jesus well in the world. Yes, in the public square of politics, but also like in the way that I talk about politics online. And sometimes it means I have to just not say anything.
Yep.
I have some friends who we do not agree, and I've really just wanted to ask questions. You know, I've wanted to ask questions. A friend of mine is a teacher and is incredibly liberal, and I just wanted to say to her, like, can you help me understand how someone who teaches children advocates for the in utero murder of children. Like, I don't understand this logically, and she wouldn't even discuss it with me. And it was like, it wasn't my mission to like convert her in any way, shape, or form. It was just really, I wanted to understand, like, help me to see your point of view. We cannot separate our faith from the way that we engage in civic life. Now, you notice I didn't say we shouldn't separate our civic life from the way that we engage in faith.
Yeah.
Very different. Faith street. Should influence our politics. Jesus said that you are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Now, our world needs salt and it needs light. And Christians can thoughtfully participate in discussions, in voting, in public service, in community leadership, in advocacy. We can love God and love our neighbor and be a part of the political culture, and I really was trying to do that when I was asking this friend of mine her views on abortion. Like, I just help me to understand, because I feel like I can't have a conversation if I don't even understand where you're coming from. And she said, I'm not talking about this with you. Like, we obviously disagree. And I was like, it kind of made me sad that we couldn't even have a conversation about it.
If you can't talk with people you disagree with, then stay out of politics, because it's...
Well, but, it was like one of those things of like, did I mess up somewhere by making her think that she couldn't talk to me about this? And ultimately, I walked away thinking, okay, this is probably a her issue and not a me issue. Like, I never came at her guns blazing about it. It was just one of those things where she knows I'm a Christian. She knows how I feel about this issue. And I really did want to understand, like, where she was coming from, so that I could better think, like, well, is this why they think that? But I still can't really, like, wrap my logical mind or my heart around that issue. I think we need to have a healthy view of politics in that it cannot become emotional. It can unite neighbors. It can divide families. I've seen that in my own family and in my own neighborhood. But how can I engage with the world around me on behalf of the gospel if they're mad at me because of my politics?
Yeah.
And so sometimes I end up not saying things or not showing what I believe because of that. It's funny, we have a newer neighbor who messaged me something about the 4th of July, and I could just tell she and I were on different parts of the spectrum politically. And I thought, do I say something, and where do I go with this? And like, what is the important thing? And my reply to her was something about like being thankful for the freedom that we have in this nation to be able to express the things that we believe, the faith that we have, the way that we want to live, all of these things, that having that freedom is a gift, and so I didn't come right out and say like, I'm a Christian and so I believe X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, okay, ultimately the relationship that I have with my neighbor is more important than the politics that I have with my neighbor. But right here, she's making a big assumption of me that I, with clear conscience, cannot perpetuate.
Yeah.
I
understand.
I'm going to have to stop this speeding train right here and be like, hey, now, did it occur to you that not everyone thinks the way that you do?
Yeah, well, my dad says this often in sermons that he preaches on Sunday, and it connects to what he's talking about, but he'll say, like, listen, not everybody scrolling their Facebook feed is seeing the same things that you are.
Yes.
We get in these bubbles where we think, well, all I'm seeing online is how much everybody hates Trump, so it must be that everybody hates Trump. Like, it's just, that's what it is, right? I mean, you're so stupid. How can you not see how bad this is? But somebody else is scrolling through their feed, and all they're seeing is good news about Trump and about their political party that they like. So not everyone is seeing the same things. And when we're talking about an entire internet worth of information, wow, it's really easy to be missing stuff. And also for every issue that there is, I mean, even abortion, which I agree with you, Therese, I believe that it's evil and that we're taking human life. It's such a complicated issue, and there's so much baggage that comes with it from people, and like it's tough to talk about. And I do believe there's a right answer, and I believe it's wrong, but it's not. You can't just throw that in everyone's face and chuck a Bible at somebody and expect them to, oh, you know what? I didn't see that. You're totally right. It's really complex. But all that to say, I think Christians do need to be involved in politics as well. And I think there are definite stances that we can take, even if we're not putting our faith in politics to kind of be the Messiah that's going to make the world perfect and do away with sin. Christians participating in politics absolutely needs to happen. That's how we got this country in the first place. That's how we abolished slavery. That's how we, achieved women's rights. Like, so many good things have come out of good people being involved in politics and going, no, this is what the Bible says. This is what I believe. Let's make our country look like this. That absolutely needs to happen, but don't put your faith in it. Don't make it your cross, your heaven on earth project. It's never going to be that way. That's for Jesus to make someday. And in the meantime, we got to just make this world look as close to heaven as we can.
It will never even be a little bit close
Not
to
even,
heaven.
but it's like a papier-mâché heaven. We'll try.
I think along the way we began to think that the only idols were giant golden cows, but it is possible that politics becomes an idol.
Oh, yeah.
The reality is it's a civic responsibility. It's not an idol. Anything that captures your trust, your loyalty, your hope, anything that competes with God in any of those places is an idol. And, straight up in the 10 Commandments, you shall have no other gods before me. Do not let politics become an idol. Now, we are not called to withdraw from society. We're not meant to place our hope in this world. I don't know what God's plan is for the midterms. It could be part of his plan for the entire destruction of the earth that, all kinds of horrible things happen in this world through politics. I can't usurp that with my vote.
Yeah.
God is going to have his way. We are called to be faithful citizens, first of God's kingdom, secondly of the nation that we live in. So keeping God's kingdom first means representing Jesus in all the conversations, not letting politics replace faith, keeping a biblical perspective that honors God first and foremost, because you know what? Elections will change. Leaders will change, but Jesus never changes. The Bible never changes. His desire that everyone hear the gospel and have their life changed for all of eternity, that is never going to change. And so, I have to ask myself before I put a lawn sign in my yard, would I be willing to put the same lawn sign up for Jesus?
Yeah.
And if politics has become a bigger thing than Christ in my life, that's a problem. And above all, the relationships that we have with other people have to be kept in a way that we can continue to have dialogue with them, not just about political things, but most importantly, about the gospel. I need to be talking more about Jesus than I am about Donald Trump.
Ooh, can't say that on Christian radio. Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, you could subscribe, maybe. And if you really liked it, you could always say so by making a gift to Family Life, the ministry this podcast is a part of. Just go to familylife.org and find out more about what we do.
Our producer is Josh Allen. How could we ever thank you enough? Did you know that Family Life offers a variety of podcasts? Get up to date with Family Life news, including the Noon Report and the 5 o'clock reports. There's If That Makes Sense, a conversation for Christians in their 20s. They're all free and on demand at familylife.org/podcast.